Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining Jeff and I today on our webcast. Before we get into that, Jeff, how was your Canada Day?
Uh, Good. I saw a lot more red and white on the street than I have in years past. Probably because many are more patriotic this year, and for good reason. How about yourself?
Yeah, there was a lot of activity, fireworks all throughout the neighborhood. It was actually quite pretty. It's nice.
Ah, good.
Yeah. So today we're going to talk about the Federal Reserve is actually designed to be independent from politics, political influence. Now that Trump's in office, and Jay Powell's term is coming up next year. Do you think we're going to run into problems with a little bit of overlap between influencing politics on the Federal Reserve? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost as though you
Yeah.
read my blog.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Trump wants to he wants lower interest rates, and he's been calling Powell too late Powell on social media. And he's saying he wants lower rates because he wants to refinance US government debt and reduce the borrowing costs. Of course, the
Hmm.
Federal Reserve just sets short term rates, and governments borrow at long term rates, which the market sets, but let's not get into technicalities.
Yeah.
But this could become a source of market volatility next May because if people are questioning whether the central bank is independent of politics, this could lead to all sorts of currency swings, and
Hmm.
you don't want to be seeing that for the world's reserve currency, which is the United States.
Yeah. Yeah. So the Federal Reserve is I guess, primary mandates are to, keep inflation in check and the economy stable.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you start having some persuasion, a little too much of the politics overlapping into that, it could cause some issues.
Yeah, for
And the
sure.
markets,
And
yeah, right. Go
there
ahead.
is precedent for this too, where the president got a little too close to the Federal Reserve chair. And that was in the 1970s when Richard Nixon pretty much
Right.
told Arthur Burns to keep rates low heading into the 1972 election. And the 70s was a period where there was high inflation and there should have been higher rates, but there
Hmm.
weren't. And so uh, it's interesting. History has been very unkind to Richard Nixon. And for those who study monetary policy history, and I don't believe there are many, but
Hmm.
many regard Arthur Burns as unfortunately one of the least successful chairs of the Federal Reserve. But yeah, I mean, this could be a big issue next May. Right now, you're not seeing much inflation. They're running at about 2.4%. The Fed aims to do
Right.
2%, and inflation is only, or pardon me, unemployment is a little over 4%. So, I mean, things are okay, but that could be different in a year because they're pushing this tax and spend bill through Congress this week. That's said to have a $3 trillion deficit attached. You're not, as I say, you're not seeing inflation, but if these tariffs don't come down, I mean, give it a year, that situation could change. So we don't
Hmm.
want to see any kind of repeat of the 1970s whatsoever.
Right.
But look, Fed central bank independence is so important to the very trust that capital markets require. And you
Right.
don't want to have politics meddle into that. But there's a fear that that could be the situation. The way a Fed chair is appointed, so the president nominates a chair, the Senate confirms that person. But there are checks and balances as to how far that chair can go into changing monetary policy.
Yeah.
Do you want to touch on that at all?
Well, there's a board of
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And they include, like, there's positions of from bank presidents that rotate annually, and the other seven that come in that will, like the chair is one vote out of 12.
Yeah.
So that will also come into play with everything.
Yeah, yeah. That's very important to keep in
Hmm.
mind that Trump can appoint anyone he wants, but that person needs to win the votes of the other people on the federal
Right.
open market committee. So um, that's something good to keep in mind. This
Hmm.
is where it's too early really to make any changes in client portfolios, and as we get into the winter. Um, I mean, this will probably become more topical then. But lately, we've been buying U.S. securities in Canadian hedged dollars. So any kind of swing you get in the U.S. dollar, which would happen because of something like this, our clients are
Hmm.
insulated from.
Hmm.
So I think we just keep doing that because the U.S. dollar's dropped quite a bit this year, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it fall a little further because this is not a good news story for the U.S. Market and the confidence it requires.
Right.
So we'll keep an eye on the situation.
We will. Okay. Thanks,
Okay,
Jeff. Talk
thanks.
to you later.